Hi, this is Carol Watson, and I'm the Chief Thriver at Thrive.com. Welcome to another episode of Thrive Talks. And thank you again for our sponsors, Microsoft, for allowing us to showcase these great experiences and chats. As you know, we will be sharing this Thrive Talk with our Thrive community. So if you have questions over the next week while our guest is really immersed, please share them and we will have her submit some answers for you. So for today's Thrive Talk, we are very excited to have Deborah Mitchell from Deborah Mitchell Media Associates. Welcome, Deborah.
Hi, Carol. Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. So to start us off, tell us about Deborah Mitchell Media Associates.
Okay, so Deborah Mitchell Media Associates is a company that our tagline pretty much is, we'll help you share the heat, the meat, and the angle of your brand story. Basically, we're finding out what your message is, and we'll share it through to traditional and social media. Starting with,
Go ahead.
Starting with helping you establish your online personality, having a website that's up to date, filled with all the social media platforms that is pertinent to your business. Once that's established, then we'll help you, if you're interested, get TV placement on a national or local show. And if you're interested in social media management for your business, we'll work with you on that also.
That sounds amazing. I know you were a former Emmy-nominated TV producer for some of the most amazing shows out there. Tell us about how you made that transition and what was the hardest part for you?
Well, the transition came about very suddenly. As many people over the last few years, I was one who, after 25 years in the television industry, I worked in different TV genres, including being a talk show producer for Geraldo Rivera, and then spending 10 years working at CBS News on the early show. And new management came in, and I was out. And that happened to a lot of people. And as a result, you're forced to look at what you can do next. So in 2010, I was faced with that decision. So I had to step back, think about, okay, what am I going to do with all my skills, and how am I going to make a living? And so I decided to reinvent. And even though I'd done many stories on reinvention, there's nothing quite like actually living through it. It's a lot harder than you would imagine.
What was the hardest part?
The hardest part was actually figuring out what I was going to do next. As a producer, we're skilled in a lot of different things. We're great multitaskers, we're great researchers, we think on our feet. And, I had to think, how can I use those skills in my next profession? The industry was in the process of changing. Social media and digital media was a big buzzword, and I was immersed in traditional media for so many years, so I actually had to learn the new way to communicate through social media. I had to figure out what Twitter was, how to use Facebook, how to use Instagram, all those different mediums that were now popular to communicate. And once I figured it out, I found that my skills were perfect for it, because it really is still storytelling, but just using a different set of tools to tell the story.
That's fabulous. So while we're still on the topic, anything that you learned that you wish you knew 3 years ago when you were starting that you found particularly helpful or wish you did differently?
Well, obviously, I wish that I had known the different skills. Kids today are growing up with these skills. They know how to use Twitter, Facebook, all of the social media, second nature to them. So I wish that I'd known how to use these tools when I was in the industry. That way, coming out of it, when I had more time, I could have dived right into starting my own business much sooner. It took me about 1.5 years to actually figure out everything and then decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do with the business.
Well, it sounds like you're off to a great start. Tell us about some of your big clients and any great projects you're excited about.
Well, last November, and hopefully I'll get to work with this show again, I actually had a chance to work with a brand new national syndicated court show. And, anyone who watches TV sees how social media is now being used in television. So you have the second screen where you actually you're encouraged to tweet while the show is airing, and shows now have Facebook pages, and they're encouraging viewers to actually participate and be a part of the show. So I actually worked with a show during November Sweeps last year, and I don't want to say the name of the show, but it launched and it did really well. It was picked up for a second season, so hopefully I'll get to work with them again. But so I was able to combine my new skills with the old industry, and it worked out perfectly.
It sounds exciting. I'm excited to hear more about that as you move along. So tell us about this new book. What inspired So You Want to Be on TV?
Oh, So You Want to Be on TV is the title came from a question that people ask me all the time when they find out I'm a television producer. They say, well, you know what? I'd love to be on television. I'm like, okay. What are you selling? What would you talk about on television? And they, talk to me about what they were interested in talking about and tell me specifically what shows they wanted to get on. And when Oprah was on, everyone wanted to be on Oprah. Now she's not on with her daily show anymore, but people want to be on the Today Show. They want to be on Good Morning America. They have an idea of where they want to be as far as a guest. So I always explain to them, I spend time explaining what it takes to get on television. So the book came about as a result of that question and my background information, my behind-the-scenes information as a producer as far as what we look for in order to put someone on television.
So tell us take us through how you advise people to approach the process.
Okay. Well, first thing is you must know what you are an expert in. So if it's an expert in a topic, if it's an expert on a particular product, you must be clear about what you're going to talk about. Once you've figured out that you're going to be the expert on this topic, it's reaching the producer or the person behind the scenes on the show that you want to be on. You should consider the show that you want to be on. What's the audience? Who's the audience for your product? That's really important, your product or service. You need to make sure that you're approaching the right show for the right audience that's the best fit. So once you figure out what show will work for you, you have to approach the you have to approach the producer and the show with your idea. And it's not very easy because producers are very busy, so we rarely pick up the phone. And what you're most likely going to do is have to email your story, your pitch to that producer. So once you've established your pitch, and it's a clear pitch, a concise pitch, it tells basically what you want to present for the show, the producer will contact you. It's not that easy. It's very difficult.
Well, that's why you have the business that you have, right? It's not for the faint at heart, I'm sure.
It's not.
So tell us about some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about getting on TV, other than it being easy.
Okay. It's the biggest misconception people have is that, like I said, it's easy, which it's not, but it's doable. And I do want to leave your viewers with the fact that you can do it. And one of the ways to do it is to try and get publicity for yourself. Try and get your name in print, get an article done on yourself. Try and, this is going to sound ironic, but try and get on another show or create video. Create your own video. Create video. If you're speaking at an event, I would suggest that you have it videotaped. Create your own YouTube channel so that you can post it on the YouTube channel. That way, when a producer decides that they're looking for someone to talk about a topic that might be in your area, once they Google your name, your video will come up in their search and they can actually see you. So you can create an environment where your product is available online, and that way you can get on the radar of the producer when they decide to look for someone talking about a topic that is perfect for you.
That sounds fabulous. It sounds also like the way that TV and broadcast has changed, and the importance of social media has really changed the game a little bit. Can you talk a little bit more about how TV as a medium and it being important to people has really changed over time?
Well, you know, TV used to be the king as far as getting content and information out, but social media has completely changed the game, which I love about it because now you can be your own publicist. You can get yourself out there. You can get your information out there. If you have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a YouTube channel, like I said, you can shoot your own video, and you can actually put your information out there for people to find it. So producers are now searching for guests differently. When I first started out, we'd read the newspaper, we'd have to call uh, and try and track down a guest. But now we can just look for your Twitter handle and follow you on Twitter and contact you. You can do the same with a producer. Follow a producer's Twitter handle and get the producer's name from the credits of the show. Look for their Twitter handle. Reach out to them on Twitter. Send them information about a product or the service that you're offering. And it's totally different. And I think it's great because it's just taken down the gate. There's no gatekeeper anymore. Everyone has an opportunity to get on television, as we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So creating a brand, I guess that's changed a bit. What's your perspective on helping people to create their brands?
Well, it's funny. I don't think years ago people even considered themselves a brand, and we really are. Whether you're an accountant or a doctor, your brand is your message and who you are, what you do. So the fact that people now realize that they are a brand, and it's a matter of creating the brand, putting the message out there, and staying in control of your brand and your image. So I think that's three of the main things to when it comes to brand building today.
So when we talk about TV producers and they're getting their attention and how the shows have changed and people's preferences for what shows they want to be on has changed, what are some of the trends that TV producers are looking for? What are you hearing? What's the demand?
When it comes to booking a guest, or just when it comes to booking a guest, it hasn't really changed that much. Timing is very important as far as when and what a producer is looking for. So timing in where you are in the TV year. I was telling you the other day that if you are an expert, say, for instance, in the tax field, or an accountant, let's go back to the accountant. We're getting ready to go into tax season. So this is the prime time for you to start approaching a show with your story pitch, because they're going to be looking for fresh new faces to talk about different angles when it comes to money, accounting, preparing for the tax season. So timing is really important in the cycle of pitching yourself for a show. And again, if you make a great appearance on a show, a producer will definitely call you back. So you want to be prepared when you get your big break to get on television.
Awesome. So other than timing in the calendar year, are there any other, favorite topics or favorite ideas that producers kind of eat up?
Well, they like the information to be relevant. So pay attention to what's going on in the news, what's going on. Say, for instance, we just finished the Oscars. So if there's a guest or a topic that you think might tie in well, Joan Rivers was snubbed. She wasn't considered to be part of the memoriam. They didn't feature her. So if you're a pop culture expert and you want to talk about that, and you watch the show, the Oscars this weekend, and you think, oh, wow, I'd be great for that discussion, today is the day for you to start pitching yourself. So pay attention to what's going on in the news so that you are relevant, and a producer would want to have you on, because things move very quickly in television. So this conversation is not relevant 3 or 4 days from now. It's something that happens the day after. You have to move fast.
Yes, you have. It's a 24-hour business nowadays, right?
Exactly. It's a 24-hour business. And if it's not on TV, they might need you for online. They might need something from you for their online site, because a lot of shows have online sites now, and that's just as good. So don't just be focused on getting on the main TV show. An online hit is just as great as getting on the main show.
That's a really good point, and that's changed a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
regarding your business, any projects you're excited about that you want to share with the Thrive community?
Well, one of the main projects I've been working on for the last 14 months is a movie review show, which is on a network called Arise TV, and it's the network is almost 2 years old, and we are featuring stories and news for the diaspora. So that's our audience, and the movie review show that I work on is hosted by a film critic by the name of Mike Sargent, and it's the first show in which an African American host is leading it. So it airs on Saturdays and reruns on Sundays, and it's a fun program where we are incorporating social media into the programming. So moviegoers, fans of movies can actually participate in the show during while it's airing or after it's aired. So that's pretty cool. I like that, and I do social media outreach with bloggers, and several brands have come to me about connecting with bloggers. Bloggers are really now seen as viable sources for getting information out because they're so connected to the blogosphere. They're very active in Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So brands are using them as a form of marketing, and several brands have approached me. I'm working on a big conference for this summer in which we're going to have 350 bloggers be able to have FaceTime with different brands. So we're inviting brands to sponsor different events at the conference in July.
That's awesome. Is that Blogger?
No, it's not, but Blogger's the granddaddy of them all, and Blogger's coming back to New York.
Yes.
Have you been?
No, I haven't been. It's on my wish list of things to participate in.
Oh yeah, when they were here in 2012, 6,000 bloggers were in New York. But this is called Blogger Bash,
Ah,
and yeah. We're gonna be it's gonna be 350 bloggers, and it's great FaceTime for any brand. So if anyone's out there and they're interested in getting in touch with me, I can definitely talk to you about sponsorship packages for the event.
well, that would be awesome. And before we conclude, if you could, when you get a minute, just leave some of those resources, the show that you're working on and the Blogger Bash, any links or any information on the chat board, and we'll make sure that that's a permanent part of your post so people can look for those resources moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So to wind up, we always ask our Thrive guests to share any resources, any habits, anything they do that they use to help themselves thrive.
I have to say that running a business, being an entrepreneur is a lot of work. I'm sure all the entrepreneurs out there know it. You're responsible for everything. So for me, taking care of my health is very important. I really make time to exercise. I'm very careful about what I eat. I make sure that I get a lot of rest, and it helps me to just stay energized and focused. Without your health and the energy to stay motivated, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So that's important for me. That helps me thrive. So I'm a big advocate of taking care of yourself and having
So
some.
one other surprise question: what is the website, the blog, the newsletter that you can't start your day without checking out?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh. Because I'm TV, I read The Wrap, and that's overseeing. That's a lot of industry news. The Wrap. Let's see. Then I have my yoga site because again, I said I need mind body health. Yeah. So
That one.
um, Elephant Journal.
No.
Yeah. And then there's Mashable. Mashable has a lot of social media information. But gosh, there's so many news sites. Just because I'm in the industry, I'm reading a lot of news sites to stay on top of what's going on in the news industry. So um, I could Muckrack. Oh, Muckrack. Muckrack definitely. Muckrack is a site where journalists from all over uh, uh, what is it? They submit their articles, daily articles. So you get a nice synopsis of what's going on, what journalists are writing about all over the United States. and abroad.
Those are all juicy. I've never heard of those. So those are great to
Yeah.
add to the reservoir for our Thrive community. Thank you again, Debbie. Please leave any comments or thoughts if you could leave your resources. Any parting thoughts for our Thrive community?
Um, just stay focused, stay at it. I know that sometimes it can be difficult as an entrepreneur, but definitely stay focused and think about what story you want to tell, and get out to your audience and pitch to TV shows.
Thank you, Deborah. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay warm. Enjoy the Oscar wrap up, and see you all next week for our next guest, Jimmy Yuen. Take care, all everybody.